Good morning, peace and blessings to everyone. It is Sunday morning, it's Cinco de Mayo, and to start today's episode off, thought I'd hit y'all with some John Coltrane. Just want to enjoy this for a minute. I'll let it roll out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Got the coffee going, just let the dog outside, got the news on, I'm just chilling. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all my Latin folks. One love. Enjoy today's episode. Stay safe out here and go do something good for somebody. And thanks for listening. Light me up a cigarette. Peace and blessings, everyone. It is Sunday, May 5th. It is Cinco de Mayo. I don't want to see nobody out here celebrating Cinco de Mayo. If you're one of the people that don't want no Mexicans around and you're always screaming, put the border up and all that shit. I don't care if you're white, black, Latin. I don't care who you are. You've been spending all year talking shit about Mexicans and Latins and all that shit, talking about build the wall. I don't want to see you with a tequila in your hand. I don't want to see you with a taco in your hand. None of that shit. That really bothers me how we want all this variety in the world. We want to be able to try out the different kind of food. You know, we're interested when it comes to different people's food. We love the Mexican food. We love it. Love it, but we hate the people. Some of us, and I'm Mexican and black. We'll love their culture. We'll love all the shit about it, but we don't want them here though. Can't be around. But leave your food. I'll fuck with the food, but you get on the other side of the wall. You know, there's black and white people out here that feel that way about Latino people, and it makes me sick. I can't stand that shit. And whoever's listening, if you don't like it, tune out. You can just stop listening to my podcast. That's how passionate I am about that. Because I'm half Mexican and black. So I'm going to always represent both of my sides. That's just how that's going to go all the fucking time. Okay? So, yeah. It is Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo for my Latina brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, Ma, I love you. Happy Cinco de Mayo. All my family. My Mexican side, happy Cinco de Mayo. I love all of you. You know what I'm saying? Stay safe and enjoy. And I'm going to do a little episode this morning and just, talking about what Cinco de Mayo actually is and what it actually means and stands for. So, I got my coffee here. Got my little coffee. I'm going to have to stop messing with Starbucks. Not only because of the prison labor thing that we were talking about, and also McDonald's too. You know, I realized afterwards, because we had stopped at McDonald's. You know, I think it was before like I had made the episode and all that, but yeah, I won't mess with McDonald's anymore either. I don't even really mess with McDonald's, and I know that list we were reading was pretty extensive. Like all the places that, you know, supported like prison labor and like all that kind of stuff. And had racist, you know, claims and all that stuff. Like, we need to stay away from the kind of places. We need to stay away from anything racist, anything sexist, anything, you know, all of that. We need to stay away from it. But yeah, so this is a Cinco de Mayo episode. I hope everyone enjoyed yesterday. You know, we just chilled and relaxed. Watch some NBA playoffs. Gonna do the same tonight. We have the Nina Simone musical tonight. Looking forward to that. So, yeah, just gonna in the lab, getting some content together, and yeah, hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Nina Simone tonight, though. Man, I'm looking forward to that. And then, yeah, but in between then, just gonna be watching some NBA playoffs. We're doing really well in the Survivor thing. I was telling you about the NBA Survivor pool. We're in 5th now. One of our entries is number 5 now, so I'm gonna try to keep that one sitting there, and then, pounce at the end and try to get first place. So round 2 will be starting and kicking off today. I believe there's probably a NASCAR race. I'll probably get in that too. But yeah, I'm about to get on my Cinco de Mayo, and yeah. So I'll just say buenos dias. And to all my Latin brothers and sisters, I love y'all. Stay safe out here and enjoy Cinco de Mayo. And for all the real ones out there that have been supporting Latin culture and Latin people, no matter what color you are, you've been doing it all year round, you got good in your heart, and you're one of the good ones, go on out there and get you a tequila and some tacos today and celebrate. But for the fake ones that have been screaming the wall and get them out of here and all that shit all year, I don't want to see y'all with a taco or tequila in y'all hand. Y'all go sit down somewhere. Phonies. And that's for everybody. I don't give a shit what color you are or who you are. Let's get on to this music and to today's episode. And if you're someone that don't like stuff Latin, then don't listen to my podcast today, because we're talking about Cinco de Mayo. Obviously, we're always talking about other stuff as well. Let's go. So, I'm just going to briefly tell people, because, it would be nice if people would just go on and do their own research. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're interested, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're someone that's listening to my podcast and you don't know what Cinco de Mayo is about or anything like that, and you think it's just a day for drinking beer and shit and eating Mexican food, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong, okay? So basically, in a nutshell, it just basically, it honors, you know what I'm saying, the fact that we defeated the French. It was a battle of Puebla. You know what I'm saying? It was basically about the victory, Mexican victory against the French. Mexicans were fighting against the French and shit. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it was just about conflict, Same thing that goes on today. War and peace, conflict. So I'll just read you a little bit from what the Americans say it's about, but I won't get all super deep into it, but I'll just give you the basic details. So basically, it just says that Cinco de Mayo is a holiday celebrated every year in Mexico. The country celebrates its historic, it's early in the morning. I've had one sip of my coffee. The country celebrates its historic defeat of the Second French Empire during one of the most significant battles of the Second Franco-Mexican War. During the Battle of Puebla, like I just said, in 1862, an outnumbered Mexican army led by General Ignacio Zaragoza defeated the French imperial forces, providing a huge morale boost to the soldiers and the country. Yeah, we are outnumbered. I say we because I'm Mexican. You know what I'm saying? They came through them French. They came through in the Battle of Puebla. They had us outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? Wholly outnumbered, and we still defeated them. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that is what the celebration is about. You know what I mean? The conflict between the two countries began after the Mexican president suspended the country's debts to the French Empire, resulting in the Napoleon III's launching an invasion of the former Spanish colony. Although the initial victory at Puebla helped rally the Mexican armed forces, French forces eventually launched a second attack on the town that was successful. Within a few years, French forces defeated the Mexican army and occupied the country before later appointing Maximilian I as the new emperor of Mexico. However, after the end of the American Civil War, Mexican rebels began receiving money and weapons from the United States government and eventually retook the country and executed the emperor. The victory by the Mexican army at Puebla became known by the date of Cinco de Mayo, and it is an important cultural event that honors the resilience of the Mexican people. That's what I was just saying, like, we were totally outnumbered and we were fighting with the French and shit. So it was pretty amazing that we were still, either won that battle or were very successful. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to my people. The holiday is celebrated in Mexico with foreign military parades and various battle reenactments to honor the soldiers who fought the battle. For example, in the town of Puebla, a large reenactment takes place every year along with multiple festivals and decorative ceremonies. I'm going to also put you guys up on, I don't know if people are familiar with the Day of the Dead. It's another thing we do in Latin Mexican culture and stuff like that to honor family and friends and stuff that have passed. So I have a lot of that stuff too at the house in the apartment that have been given to me by my family members. So I'll read some of that information too, and then about like what my grandfather went through and what his father went through and everything. So I have a lot of that information. My mom, always keeps me updated and gives me information, just throughout my family history. So, I know, all of that stuff. So I'll be providing that information too. But in reality, Mexicans celebrate the start of their fight for independence from the Spanish colonizers on September 15th and 16th. In addition, areas of Mexico, such as Puebla, celebrate Cinco de Mayo for the full month of May. Yeah, there's other places, like, depending on where you go specifically, like, if you go to Mexico, like, they'll celebrate, like, not just a day. They might celebrate for multiple days. You know what I mean? And then depending, too, like, depending on how big your family is, the celebration might last longer. You know what I mean? Moreover, the Mexican government does not consider Cinco de Mayo an official national holiday, although some children and workers receive the day off for May 5th. However, many banks and public offices remain fully operational on the holiday. The Mexican War was completely outnumbered. Finally, the Mexican army, was completely outnumbered during their initial victory against the French invaders in 1862 at Puebla. That's what I was just saying. They had us outnumbered, something crazy. Here's some of the numbers too. The Mexican army had some 2,000 soldiers to defend the town, while the French invaded with approximately 6,000 troops on the battlefield. That's why I was saying, that's why part of the reason it was so amazing that, like, we, won that battle. Some people, there's always different stories and shit like that. But just think that, like, we are outnumbered basically 4-1. You know what I'm saying? And still fuck them up. So yeah, a lot of time, it's not like yeah, but that is crazy how, like, today has just become like a national holiday, just kind of like for everyone. You know what I mean? That it really does, like, kind of bother me how during the year, like, nobody, and I ain't saying nobody, but like a lot of people don't want Mexicans around. Won't talk to them, don't want to have shit to do with them, won't hire them unless it's for certain jobs. We're telling them, not me, I'm just saying in general, people are telling them, oh, build the wall, put the wall up here, we don't want them around. But then as soon as Cinco de Mayo comes, we're drinking tequila, eating tacos, wearing the Mexican stuff and all this shit, right? Probably, busting down piñatas and all kinds of stuff, right? But then tomorrow morning, we're going to be back to talking shit about Mexicans. That stuff's so foul to me. For Americans with or without Mexican ancestry, the day has become an excuse to toss back tequila shots with salt and lime and gorge on tortilla chips smothered with melted orange cheddar that's unfamiliar to most people in Mexico. That's what I'm saying. You know, a lot of like some of these foods that we eat here in America, we call it Mexican food. It's been Americanized. You know, like there's not a such thing as like burritos in Mexico and shit. That's the thing we've like kind of made up here and turned it into our own. Yeah, there's not burrito. You say you go to Mexico and talk about let me get a burrito, they'd be like, what's a burrito? You know what I'm saying? Or just some of the, even like, you know how we gorge here in the United States and we just eat meat and like we just overstuff ourselves. Like, you know, in Mexico, like all the meat and stuff like that, that's not a normal thing. Like, you don't stuff yourself with meat and all that stuff. A lot of that stuff, like chorizo, or like even just some of the meats, and those are like side dishes and stuff sometimes. You know, they're like filler, or they go in with the meal. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a big part of the main dish a lot of times. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but there's stuff over here that we make over here and we call it Mexican food that they probably never even heard over there in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. The focus on drinking and eating has brought some criticism of the holiday, especially as beer manufacturers and other marketers have capitalized on its festive nature, and some revelers embrace offensive stereotypes, such as fake, droopy mustache, and gigantic straw sombreros. That's what I'll be saying, man. Sometimes people would be, and sometimes I know it's not intentional, you're just trying to, but like sometimes people would be, a lot of times it'll be white people, they'll be dressing up, you know what I'm saying, and they'll just be doing the most sometimes, and they end up offending people by some of the shit they do and say. So I'll just read this real quick for anyone that might have just tuned in, because I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, because I know truly, if I'm just being honest, a lot of people don't really give a shit. They're probably like, man, dude, I'd rather you be playing some music or something right now. So what is it? Cinco de Mayo marks the anniversary of the 1862 victory by Mexican troops over invading French forces at the Battle of Puebla. The triumph over the better equipped and more numerous French troops was an enormous emotional boost for the Mexican soldiers led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. Historical reenactments and parades are held annually in the central Mexico city of Puebla to commemorate the inspirational victory, with participants dressed in historical French and Mexican army uniforms. What it isn't. Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day, Mexico's most important holiday. That's what I was saying too earlier, like Cinco de Mayo isn't like our Independence Day. It's not like January 4th. It's not like July 4th and shit. How we celebrate Independence Day here and all that, and the fireworks, like it's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Mexicans celebrate their country's independence from Spain on the anniversary of the call to arms against a European country issued September 16th, 1810. You know they used to call Mexican people back in the day. You know what I'm saying? When they were rounding us up and trying to colonize us. You know what the Spanish and shit and the British called us back then? They called us yellow. They called Mexican people yellow people. Yep. It's cold bullshit. So Mexicans celebrate their country's independence from Spain, as I just said, from Spain. Because that's a lot of things, too. People think, Spain? Mexicans, aren't they the same? No, they're not. That's why I was saying there's a difference between Latino, you know what I'm saying, and Spanish and all that shit. It's like, they say, oh, well, you speak Spanish, but that doesn't matter. That's just the language. You know what I'm saying? You speak in Spanish, and being Spanish is different. Because a lot of Spaniards are actually Europeans. So Mexico's president reacts. Mexico celebrates their country's independence from Spain on the anniversary of the call to arms against a European country issued September 16, 1810 by the Reverend Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla, a priest in Dolores, Mexico. Mexico's president reenacts El Grito de Independencia, or the City of Independence, most years on September 15th at about 11 p.m. from the balcony of the country's national place. Ringing the bell, Hidalgo rang. And then I'm just going to play a little music real quick. If you don't want to listen to it, go do something else. This is for my Mexican people. And you can just see, I'm watching this clip from Chief, you can just see like the white people are uncomfortable. Like the news people, they look uncomfortable. White people, when they get in spaces where there's like brown and black people, they get uncomfortable. You can almost see it. They're like physically uncomfortable. They don't know what to do with themselves when they're not around a bunch of white people. That white lady's probably thinking, can you turn that down?
Perfect. We're excited. And y'all see the full performance today and tomorrow.
Today and tomorrow, yes. They're actually on this afternoon at 2 p.m. And
Okay.
then also all day tomorrow, beginning at noon, going till 11 p.m.
This is incredible. Plus, it's always a party there. But
We got the chance to visit it the other day with George.
Yes.
And it's just so fun. There's so much to do. It's also ginormous inside as well.
massive.
Yeah.
And which is good.
So let's see what Milwaukee, I just pulled up an article just to see what Milwaukee has going on, like what kind of celebrations they have planned. So I'll just read what they say real quick. They just said Cinco de Mayo commemorates the Mexicans' army victory over the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862, blah, 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 according to history.com. See, a lot of times, like, it'll be these white people doing these stories, like, they'll be so dumbfounded on the stuff. And then they'll be writing stuff, and you're just like, oh, according to. No, it's all facts. Many area businesses and organizations are celebrating. This is in Milwaukee. I'm just trying to see what's going on in the city as far as celebrations. Many area businesses and organizations are celebrating with a festival, concerts, food and drink specials, and more. Here's what several have going on. So let's see. Cinco de Mayo festivals on Saturday at Umos, musical, cultural performances, carnival rides, traditional foods and contests. Well, that was already Saturday and stuff yesterday. Yeah, those are all from Saturday. I'm just trying to see what they have going on, if there's anything going on Sunday. So these were all done already.
Wow.
Got some audio here. They explain Cinco de Mayo.
May 5th is tomorrow. It falls on a Friday this year, which will just add to the party. But very few Americans understand the date's true significance or even why they're celebrating. CBS 8's Rocio de la Fe sits down with a Mexican history expert to teach us all why this date is so important.
They'll put you up on game right now.
Thousands of Americans crowd into their favorite bars and restaurants for Cinco de Mayo. Many use it as a perfect excuse to go out for a drink or favorite Mexican meal. But the majority don't know what Cinco de Mayo is really about. Do you know what Cinco de Mayo is?
5th of May. I'm not sure what it celebrates, though.
It's a celebration.
Of?
The 5th of May.
That was some white guy there interviewed. He, in his mind, he's thinking, oh, it's a day to drink. It's just another day to drink. You ain't got to give white people an excuse to drink. But me and Michelle are going to go out and do some of that today. We're going to ask people, just generally, like, do you know what Cinco de, do you know what you're celebrating? Do you know what Cinco de Mayo means? You know what I'm saying? And see if we can get some people to talk with us. But back to this.
There you go. Good one. That's a good guess.
In my opinion, singing a drinko.
This Cinco de Mayo, many Americans will go out to party, filling up bars and restaurants across the nation. But many are often clueless about what they're even celebrating.
It's not Cinco de Drinko. That's off the table.
Dawg says Cinco de Drinko.
Gerardo Rios is a professor of Mexican American Studies and History at Southwestern College and explains why the 5th of May is an important date in Mexican history.
What Cinco de Mayo celebrates is the Mexican liberal victory over the French forces that had invaded Mexico.
In 1862, a powerful French army led by Napoleon III was sent to invade the country. And even though they outnumbered the Mexican army, they were met with a strong resistance in the Mexican state of Puebla.
Cinco de Mayo represents one of those historical episodes where the little guy beats the big guy.
Hell yeah.
Where the little people were the oppressed.
Yeah.
Beat the great imperial power.
The battle was seen as a great victory for Mexico.
It's akin to a David versus Goliath story, right? And it literally makes the impossible possible.
Even though the Battle of Puebla was seen as a major victory, the French would ultimately go on to win the war.
Yeah, because they came through a second time on us.
Spend the day celebrating the holiday with food and drinks. Rio says the date is not a widely celebrated event throughout Mexico, but it is in Puebla, where the day is filled with military parades, recreations of the battle, music, and more.
They do a reenactment of the Battle of Puebla, and then they do a reenactment of the native people that actually participated.
And although it's a significant date in Mexican history, it's not to be confused with the Mexican Independence Day, which is celebrated on
September 16th.
Rocio de la Fe, CBS 8.
So there you have that. Yeah, a lot of times people get Cinco de Mayo and Mexico's actual Independence Day, mixed up. They're actually about 4 months apart. Cinco de Mayo is, May 5th, and Mexico's actual Independence Day is September 16th. So remember I was saying earlier, like a lot of times people would be thinking Cinco de Mayo is like the equivalent of July 4th and shit, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get out there and ask some people today too. Not a bunch of people, but, we'll randomly ask a few people, see if they don't mind, talking on the microphone. Because that is one thing, it's easier, when you're doing like audio recordings and you're not doing like video stuff, it's easier, when you are trying to like interview somebody or ask somebody a question and stuff like that. It's, people are more willing to talk with you and be on, be recorded if it's just audio versus them thinking they're going to be on TV or something, or their face is going to be, plastered on some screen somewhere. People are a little less, likely to fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? But when you don't tell them, it's just, it's just audio, your face isn't going to be, they're a little more willing to speak with you. So that's one thing I like. But yeah, we're going to get out there and do some of that. But it's 4:40 a.m. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hope everyone's staying safe out here. Just go celebrate and just do your own research and just learn about people. If you want to sit there and eat our food and shit like that, man, at least learn where it's coming from and learn, you know what I'm saying, about the struggle and everything, man. Just, you can't only want to learn about the food. You got to want to learn about the people too. Right? Doesn't that just make fucking natural sense? All right. So for the good ones, we appreciate you. For the phonies and fakes, you can get on somewhere. All right. I'm going to let Charlie out for his morning pee and poopy. I'm going to go check on Marley, our Miss Calendar Queen. Yeah, I was looking on that calendar yesterday that she's in. She's actually literally the cutest cat on there, too. I was like, Marley's the shit. All right, so I'm going to go check on her and then, finish up some more content and go out and get some fresh air, get another cup of coffee, and enjoy this John Coltrane that we're all listening to. Excuse me. Oh, go check out that Katt Williams on Netflix too. I had fell asleep. Michelle said it was decent, but not as funny as she thought it. But she did like it.
the number 2 meal with orange juice.
Anything else?
A water.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, pull forward, please.
Thank you.
And tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo too, so I don't want to be seeing nobody or hearing nobody
I need the card.
all trying to celebrate. If they have a problem with, you know what I'm saying, with Latin people being here and stuff.
No, I'm good.
Thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the damn variety we want in this world. We want we want to be able to have all the different color cars, the different shoes. We want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? All this different stuff. Everyone's be out drinking tequila tomorrow, eating tacos.
Yeah.
They don't even know what Cinco de Mayo means. I'm gonna have to do a podcast on that tomorrow. Charlie's like, I gotta pee. He smells food probably.
Yeah. Morning.
Morning.
Ooh, water in a cup. Perfect.
Nice.
I like that.
McDonald's.
I'm just gonna pull off and
Out here seeing what customer service is like today.
let him out.
Okay. I'm gonna let Charlie out the piss real quick. Come on, Charlie. And he probably has some shit because he had Dookie, looked like Dookie was coming out his butt earlier. He was getting on the elevator. Good, man. What is that? Where we headed next, baby? We gotta see what's up with customer service today. Come on, you gotta just pee, Charlie. It's time to be sniffing everything. There we go. One pee-pee is good enough. I think I'm about to start eating my McDonald's. I'm gonna start eating mine now. I'm hungry as hell. Put some sanitizer on my hands. I still use the sanitizer and wear masks. Fuck that. I ain't trying to get sick. I don't care.
Oh, good try. Oh. You tried.
Charlie looks like a little Ewok. I'm about to get after this food right now. Yep. What did you get, baby?
Our sausage McMuffin with egg.
And the hash brown? You want your hash brown?
No.
Okay. Go ahead. Can you keep your mouth that way?
Yeah. Right.
So I can enjoy my breakfast. I think I'm gonna just eat the hash brown and then eat the pancakes when we get back. I'm gonna see if I can. Wait, they ain't give me no ketchup. See, that's what I was saying about that shit. We were just talking about that. It was just automatically throw ketchup in the bag with hash brown or fries. At least it's nice and hot. Yeah, the one on the McDonald's on 2nd Street is
Did I
a good
stop
one.
and get
Just check the date on. This is the place where I came. Remember I was telling you I came in there and I was going to get the snacks and they were out of date. And dude was like, oh, they're still good. Look, Look, he was squeezing it. It's fresh. I said, I don't care if it's fresh. The day says it's old. It was like 3 months old. It was no straw. Crazy. Crazy as hell. Yeah, this gas station here, what's this? It's over there off of Second. Over there by McDonald's. That mobile gas station and all that. With the Chubbies and the liquor store and all that. Yup. I went in there to get some snacks and goodies. I grabbed, there was a couple of them honey buns, I think it was. And they're out of date. The date was like 3 months past the expiration. And I was like, man, these are out of date. Because there was a dude there, he was like restocking them and stuff like that. And like moving them around and stuff. And I was like, man, these are out of date. And he was like, no, look, they're fresh. And he like squeezed one of the packages. I was like, look though, man, they're like 3 months old. I don't care how soft it is. There's a date on there for a reason. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people get sick out here. Because they just grab stuff, you know what I mean, off the shelves. And then they just start eating on it. And then afterwards, they'll be wondering why they got sick. And then they'll check the package on the thing or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, this is a month old. It's too late. It's in your stomach now. And they're tearing your stomach lining up. Yup. Not me. I'll throw something out the day of. If something's expired the last day and today's the last day, I might not. I'll probably throw it out today. Let me check this jelly, see what you're seeing. At least it's great.
They actually have shreds.
Oh shit, we got Marley some shreds. The little calendar queen.
Yep.
I think I'm about to start eating these pancakes right now. I can't wait. And then I start watching Star Wars and shit all day. That's a Mexican driving that one, because you hear the exhaust when it drops. It makes that. That's a Mexican driving that one, because you can tell by the sound. Because if it would have just been super loud, that would have been a white guy. Yep, that's how that is. So I'm about to start eating my food. You don't want your hash brown, baby?
I'm just gonna wait.
You gonna wait? You practice patience.
Oh, climbing, yoga, fitness.
Oh, what's the name still here?
I don't know what that is.
The jazz bar.
Oh, Caroline's?
Caroline's?
I think so.
Caroline's is straight. Caroline's is a good place. We haven't been there in a while, but we've been there a couple times. It's a little jazz bar. It's pretty chill, cozy in there. Look at these white boys walking across the street, going in there drinking already. Look, it's 8:26 in the morning. White guys in there drinking. Going to the bar. They were probably drinking all last night. Like shit, that shit's crazy as hell to me. I'm eating breakfast. They're sitting there going in to drink booze. They ain't even ate, and they ain't gonna eat nothing either. And are the Brewers in town? They're gonna probably drink there and then go tailgate at the Brewer game.
Look at that dog.
And then tomorrow they're gonna be doing the Cinco de Mayo, and then Monday morning they're gonna be calling people spics and tell them put the wall up. Yep. So I'm gonna tell you something about this. So among America's political elite, right? You know, that's like lawmakers, all that kind of stuff, just people in government and shit, and like legislators. So among American, this is from the Reuters website,
Reuters, Reuters. Among America's political elite, Reuters found that 5 living presidents, 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 legislators. What does that say, baby, on the bottom?
Descend from ancestors who enslaved black people.
Yep. That's current, today. Among America's political elite, Reuters found that 5 living presidents, 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 legislators descend from ancestors who enslaved black people. Go look it up. It's on Reuters. Don't be mad at me.
And we'll also throw in some mayonnaise.
You ready for this one, baby?
So now we're going to blend this down
This is
until it is
brutal.
nice and smooth, and that takes about 2 to
This
3
person
minutes.
did. You ready? Okay, so a Wauwatosa woman is charged in a vampire-style stabbing attack. Did you hear anything about this?
No.
I didn't either. That's why when I scrolled past it, I was like, wait, what? And we watch the news every morning.
Right.
All right, dude. We're watching America's Test Kitchen, too. He needs to turn that blender down. So, Wauwatosa woman charged in vampire-style stabbing attack. Man drove self to the hospital with suspect in backseat of car. And this is from WISN 12 News. This is updated May 2nd, 2024. Shout out Channel 12. So this is from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. I'm going to find the clip too, the audio, the video, or whatever it is. So it says a Wauwatosa woman has been charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide in the stabbing attack of a family member. So crazy little white lady. According to a criminal complaint, Athena Anderson told police she stabbed the man as he drove down Lisbon Road in Brookfield on Saturday, April 13th. I thought they said all the crime is in the hood.
Right.
The complaint stated when police asked if Anderson was aware that stabbing someone in the neck would kill them, she stated, "I figured that's why vampires stab people in the neck, so they can kill their prey." That's what this little girl said. She said, I'm going to say it one more time. She stated, "I figured that's why vampires stab people in the neck, so they can kill their prey." Anderson told police she had been thinking about stabbing the man for the past 2 weeks. She said she grabbed a knife from her kitchen and got in the backseat of the car while she and the victim went for a drive. According to the complaint, Anderson told police, "I stabbed him in the neck," she stated. "The knife went in and out." Ugh. Hold on, I'm going to find the clip. Because there's only like a couple more little paragraphs. I'm going to see if I can find an audio clip. Because I know people are like, probably sick of hearing me reading it. I'm going to pull up the video. Okay, I found the video.
A Wauwatosa woman who allegedly stabbed her father near his neck last month has been freed from jail after posting $100,000 cash bail, online court records show. Athena Anderson, 18, was charged Tuesday in Waukesha County Circuit Court with a count of
some crazy-ass white person out there on that bike messing our video up, messing the audio up, trying to record, and they're out there flying around on their motorcycles. Because they'll be mad when they leave the house. They'll be pissed off at their wife or girlfriend. And when they leave out, that's that aggression.
Attempted first-degree intentional homicide and was ordered held on $100,000 cash bail. Just a quick word from our sponsor.
Man.
Spin your passion.
No.
Following an initial court appearance, online court records indicate that cash bail was posted Tuesday. Anderson was charged after she allegedly stabbed her father near the neck as they rode in a car together near 128th Street and Lisbon Avenue on April 13th. The man drove himself to Freighter Hospital immediately afterward, where he declined to assist authorities investigating the matter and said he only wished for his daughter to receive treatment at a facility, the complaint in the case said. He sustained a stab wound on the right side near the collarbone and front shoulder area. Anderson told police she'd contemplated stabbing her father for the previous couple of weeks and said she just wanted to get him back for punching her in the past. She told a police officer she didn't think about the consequences of her actions. The complaint against her said, adding, When asked if she was aware that stabbing someone in the neck could kill them, she stated, "I figured that's why vampires stab people in the neck, so they can kill their prey." Anderson has been ordered to remain at least a half-mile from her father, whom the Freeman has identified as Per Anderson after consulting Milwaukee County tax records. Patrick Campbell, an attorney who appeared with Anderson in intake court on Tuesday, said Thursday his firm was not yet retained to represent Anderson, so there was not much he can say at this point. He said, though, that her residency was discussed in court and there were other locations she could travel to or live at another than the home in Wauwatosa. District Attorney Sue Opper declined to comment on a pending case. A preliminary hearing was set for May 13th.
So here's some of the places that, these are some of the companies that are tied to labor. So it says, the Associated Press tied prison labor to the supply chains of some of the world's biggest companies. And I'm going to read the list of some of these places off. You're going to be probably surprised by, I am too, as I'm looking. I'm like, damn, I eat that shit. Damn, I buy that stuff. Hold on. Okay, so here's some of these, man, I was shocked at some of these. Well, not shocked, but you know what I mean? Just surprised, because I mess with some of these companies, but I'm not anymore. You know what I mean? I'll go generic on stuff as long as it's, you know, healthy. So the Associated Press tied prison labor to the supply chains of some of the world's biggest companies. You got Hillshire Farm, Kroger, Sara Lee, Cargill, McDonald's, Land O'Lakes, Target, Cheerios, Tyson, Costco, Pepsi, Sam's Club, Russell Stover, Ballpark, Burger King, Aldi, Whole Foods, Rice Krispies, Jimmy Dean, Domino's Pizza, Walmart, wow, Polly-O. And here's another cold, brutal ass stat. It's another reason why I call my podcast A Cold World. Listen how fucked up this is. In addition to giant farms, at least 650 correctional facilities nationwide have prisoners doing jobs like landscaping, tending greenhouses and gardens, raising livestock, beekeeping, and even fish farming, said Joshua Bicka, director of the Prison Agriculture Lab at Colorado State University. He noted that corrections officials exert power by deciding who deserves trade-building jobs like welding, for example, and who works in the fields. Remember I was telling y'all yesterday when I was talking to Michelle about that boot camp? Yeah, man, they had us up there chopping down tree branches and tree limbs out in the dead of cold. It was so cold out there. You know what I'm saying? They gave us these little punk, thin-ass work gloves, you know what I'm saying? They're like gardening gloves, basically. Cheap ass, like, they're not keeping your fingers warm. It was like 3 degrees or, 3-4 degrees out there, man. You know what I'm saying? In the morning time, it was freezing. They had us out there doing, that's prison labor. Because that kind of stuff, trimming like all that stuff, there's people that do that out in the world that get paid pretty decent money to do that. We are doing that for nothing. So it says in several states, along with raising chickens, cows, and hogs, corrections departments have their own processing plants, dairies, and canaries. I know that's true too, because out there in Dodge County, like right between Waupun prison and Dodge, because Dodge is a maximum joint too, but they have a creamery. They have their own place, because Waupun and Dodge, they sell their own milk, like the creameries, because when you're in prison there, that's the milk you get. It's from there. It's Waupun Dairy is on the milk carton, so they're making money. The AP met women in Mississippi locked up at a restitution centers, the equivalent of debtors' prisons, to pay off court-mandated mandated expenses. They worked at Popeyes, Louisiana Chicken, and other fast food chains, and also have been hired out to individuals for work like lawn mowing or home repairs. So like, for example, McDonald's says McDonald's uses inmates to produce frozen foods. Inmates process beef for patties. They may also process bread, milk, and chicken products. Wendy's has also been identified as relying on prison labor to reduce its cost of operations. Inmates also process beef for patties. Walmart, the company uses inmates for manufacturing purposes. The company hires inmates to clean products at UPC barcodes so their products can be resold. Damn. Starbucks, the company uses inmates to cut costs as well. I won't be fucking with Starbucks anymore from like right now. Starbucks subcontractor Signature Packaging Solutions hire Washington State prisoners to package holiday coffees. Sprint. Is Sprint even a thing anymore? Inmates provide telecommunication services. Inmates are used in call centers. Damn, I didn't know that. Verizon. Inmates provide telecommunication services. JCPenney and Kmart. Airlines and Avis. American Airlines and the car rental company Avis use inmates to take reservations. Paying them like shit. Just imagine like some of the money, the salaries you'd have to give people. You know what I'm saying? Think about how much damn money they're saving. I got some video, some audio here.
Links hundreds of popular food brands to work done.
Shit is crazy, man.
A 2-year Associated Press investigation found that everything from grains, meat, eggs, and milk had been grown, harvested, or produced by incarcerated people.
It's about 3.5 minutes, y'all.
Its way into the supply chains of some of the most recognized brands and largest food companies in the world.
About to go get me a cigarette.
As cattle raised at the Louisiana State Penitentiary were transported to a meat processor in Texas. From there, the beef ended up in the supply chains of McDonald's, Burger King, and major grocery stores.
I feel like I had become a slave, a product of the convict system, because everything that I was doing was profiting the prison.
The 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution abolished slavery and involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime. We spoke to prisoners who were working on the same plantation soil where slaves toiled more than 150 years ago. Many were making pennies an hour. Some were getting nothing at all. Others were being contracted out to private companies or taking part in work release programs. Prisoners can sometimes be punished.
I was just going to say something real quick, too, because as she was talking, it made me think, like when I was at Fox Lake Correctional Institution, for people here in Wisconsin, you know, heard of Fox Lake, it's a medium joint. And I just remember, like, because I was working in the laundry when I was there, but I remember, like, when we would be going to work and stuff like that, especially in the summertime, well, in the winter, too, you know what I mean? Like, they would just be having people out there shoveling the snow. And Fox Lake is big, it's huge. It almost looked like a small college campus. As a matter of fact, I think it used to be way back in the day, or something like that. Before it was a prison. But they would have, like in the wintertime, they would have people out there shoveling at like 4 in the morning. They come knocking on your door, waking you up. And if you didn't want to shovel, they'll throw you in the hole. Or put you on, you know, voluntary unassigned. Or like in the summertime, you would see everyone out there cutting the grass. I mean, just in lines, you know, cutting the grass. I mean, it's a lot of grass to cut, tons of it. And, you know, that people were making, you know, between like 17 and 33 cents an hour doing that stuff. Can you imagine the amount of money you would have to pay a company to just like a, you know, outside business to come in and cut the grass and do all the landscape, and they would, you know what I'm saying? You imagine, just think of the amount of money they saved. So back to this.
For refusing to work. even thrown into solitary confinement.
I just said that, didn't I?
And if they are hurt on the job, they often have little recourse.
They aren't eligible for workers' compensation, nor are they protected by other worker safety laws because they're not considered quote-unquote employees.
We're going to have to figure out different ways to make our system a better system instead of just exploiting labor and then calling it crime prevention.
The agriculture sector is just a fraction of the overall prison labor industry, which includes everything from public works to stamping license plates.
They're learning a skill set. They're learning to be responsible for something. They're learning to pay back their debt to society.
I learned that.
See, one thing I'm gonna say too, like you heard how this old white man was talking about and pay their debt back to society and learn about values and learn about how and all that stuff. Dude, I don't need to learn about responsibility. How am I gonna learn about responsibility making 17 cents an hour? I'd rather just see, you know, most prisons or all prisons have some form of, I mean, if you're in a max joint and you're doing stupid time, then obviously that doesn't make sense at that point. But you know what I'm saying? I'd like to see a lot of more people be able to participate in like boot camp programs so you can get the discipline, the structure, the value system you need so you can change your way of thinking. I'd rather go through something like that than this type of bullshit.
If I wanted to be better, I have to make my own way, basically. That the opportunities are here. They're not going to give them to me.
But prisons and corporations benefit from inmate labor. The goods wind up in the supply chains of giants like Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, and Costco, just to name a few. The AP also found American prison labor linked to the supply chains of multinational companies such as Cargill that export goods all over the world. This is happening even though Washington has banned imports and seized goods that were produced by prison or forced labor abroad.
DHS is deeply concerned by credible and growing reports of China's state-sponsored use of forced labor and other human rights violations in the Xinjiang region.
Several companies told the AP they have policies in place restricting suppliers from using incarcerated workers. Cargill acknowledged buying goods from American prison farms and said it would determine next steps. Others said they would look into the AP's findings, which revealed just how much prison labor touches many of the foods we eat.
The standard rates are 1 for 2, 2 for 3, or 3 for 5. Meaning if I borrow 1 bag of coffee, the next time we go to the store, I have to give you 2 bags back. If I borrow 2 honey buns, I have to give you 3. Now, if you look at the math, 3 for 5 is actually a worse.
This is Starbucks.
Just like everything else.
They support prison labor too. I am not fucking with Starbucks anymore.
Correctional Center was the first major prison I was at, and the first job I got was in the wood shop. That's why they moved me to the wood shop workers pod, which is actually where I lived with the serial killer. And the good thing about that pod was that everybody had a job, so everybody had money.
Let me tell you real quick. Remember I was telling this white guy. He seems like a pretty cool white dude. You know what I'm saying? He's been to the joint. You know what I'm saying? He seems like the way he's talking and shit, at least it sounds like his heart's in the right place. But he was just talking about how he was celled up with some dude that killed somebody or whatever, I think he just said. Remember I was telling y'all, it was in an earlier episode, probably from a couple months ago. When I was at Waupun and shit, I was there for 7 months. I was locked up with this old white man. He had killed his wife. Yup. He killed his wife. And then he ended up moving out the cell. He ended up getting a single cell. Dude was like in his 70s. Yep.
So there were always hustles to get into. So when I got tired of working all those hours in the wood shop, I started running quarter boards, which was a way to gamble, and I started running a store box. And it went really well for a few months. I ended up with so much food that my locker was full, my celly's locker was full, the wall locker was full, and I had commissary bags full under the bed. But then, despite making good money, one guy went into gambling debt, and then he went into more gambling debt, and then he came to me to borrow money, and I didn't think it was an issue because we'd always gotten along. Then store day came around, and everybody paid me except for him, and then he came up and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry, something happened, I got you next time." One of the rules is if you're not going to have somebody's stuff, you tell them ahead of time. You don't wait until store day. And I was so young and full of ego and worried about being made a fool of that I got really emotional about it. And apparently he said to somebody else, like, "Hey, I ain't got to worry about him, he's not going to do anything, I'll pay him when I can." So I asked an old head, hey, what should I do about this? This guy's put me in a bad position. What do I need to do? And he told me I needed to do something. One of the buddies of the guy that owed me overheard this conversation and went and told him. So despite the fact that he owed me, a few minutes later he came swinging. It took a minute, but eventually the officer in the booth saw us fighting, hit the bullhorn, and called a 1033 or a fight call. When he heard the bullhorn, the guy I was fighting left my cell, and the goon squad got there a minute later. Well, they knew who I was, because I was the guy who lived in that cell, but they didn't know who the other guy was, and I didn't.
I'm gonna stop for the last time, because dude's like, you know, sparking memories in my head. You know, like in prison and shit, if there's like a fight or something jumps off, you'll just like see all the COs just running right to wherever the situation is. And a lot of times, because remember I was telling you, like in these up north prisons, there's no black guards. Like I was saying, you're only gonna see black or brown guards in the Milwaukee jails or like the halfway houses, MSDF, which is actually a prison, or, you know, RCI or RYOC. Other than that, all the guards are white in these up north prisons, all of them. It's like 90%.
Tell him. And the watch commander at the time was so mad that I wouldn't tell him. He said, well, if you don't tell us, I guess we're not going to be able to process your property. So I went down to the hole with no toothbrush, no toothpaste, and nothing personal. I got the sergeant to give me a toothbrush, but she couldn't find any toothpaste. And it took me 4 days to get toothpaste to be able to brush my teeth, because the watch commander was so mad I wouldn't tell on the person I was fighting with. Suffice to say, that was the last time I ran a store box, because it just wasn't worth the hassle. I was making good money, but all of a sudden I'm in the hole, under investigation, and they didn't end up giving me a charge because they couldn't charge me for fighting with nobody, but I lost my job, I lost some of the stuff I had. It just was a bad situation.
Starbucks is taking the top labor agency in the U.S. to the Supreme Court. It's a case that could affect workers' rights to unionize. Eyewitness News reporter Irene Cruz is live in Mid-Wilshire with those details. Irene.
Yeah, John, good morning. We're here at one of the unionized locations in the LA area, but this all comes after Starbucks fired 7 workers in Tennessee who were trying to unionize, and then they were forced to rehire them, and now they're calling for a limit on government control. So today, the Supreme Court is scheduled to hear Starbucks' case against the National Labor Relations Board. If the court rules in the company's favor, it could make it harder for the government agency to step in when it believes Starbucks is intervening with employees trying to unionize. It is happening as tension between Starbucks and the union Workers Unite is starting to fade. The two sides claimed they restarted contract talks in February. Starbucks has asked the Supreme Court to intervene because it says the NLRB doesn't have a set of standards agreed on by federal courts to request a temporary injunction. Now, back out here live, this all goes beyond Starbucks. Today's ruling could have long-term effects on unionization efforts all across the country, across many different industries.
Is desperately trying to increase our prison population, and I think one of the reasons is to exploit cheap labor. So let's break down which industries use prison labor in order to make informed consumer choices. Number 1, we have the agricultural sector. Farming is a huge industry that uses prison labor. Incarcerated workers are involved in the production of agricultural products, including working on farms and producing goods that are sold on the market. These products can be found in the supply chains of major food corporations and brands sold across a variety of consumer markets. Next, we have public works projects. This includes road repair, assistance during natural disasters, forestry work, maintenance of parks, schools, and government offices. Incarcerated workers are often involved in these tasks that are critical to public infrastructure and community services. Next, we have private company work assignments. Some prisons have contracts with private companies where they lease out incarcerated workers for labor, which is a system that's a direct descendant of convict leasing systems, which were put in place right after slavery to perpetuate that cheap labor. These private
And you know what else they're doing too? Remember I was telling you, because we were talking about how Waupun Correctional Institution was having all the issues, like with the lockdown and all that stuff. They were saying it's dangerous and all that shit like that. Remember I was doing an episode, because I was going through all the prisons, and I was highlighting how every one of them is overcrowded, even if it's by one person. But when I was going through, doing my digging, I saw that Waupun is actually not overcrowded. They're under their capacity, right? So what they did, they sent people out of state. They sent some inmates out of state. Like they sent them to the county jails. You know, they have the contract with these out-of-state prisons. You know what I'm saying? So there's about maybe 15 more seconds of this, and then we're gonna get going.
Private work company assignments can be across various industries. This includes food, service, retail, and manufacturing. But these work assignments can sometimes pay a little bit more only in comparison to other prison jobs.
Yeah, that's some cold-blooded shit. I've been affected by that. Like I said, when I was locked up, I used to buy clothes, you know, the canteen and all that stuff, the TVs and all that shit, the radios, you know, and they're making money off us. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Be looking for more content this weekend. I'm gonna go get me something to eat, you know what I'm saying? Pop the news on and probably lay down for a couple hours and then get up and start watching the Star Wars. I thought they were gonna have the Star Wars on at midnight, but they didn't. But we have them all set to record, and so I'll be watching that and then getting ready for the NBA playoffs today. And so we'll holler at y'all later. Go out there and get some fresh air, do something good for somebody, and enjoy this John Coltrane on the way out. And I'll holler at y'all soon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. It's that John Coltrane is Saturday morning. You got to get the jazz going. Peace, y'all. This is DVJ again. Thanks for listening to this Sunday morning edition of the Cold World Podcast with DVJ and Michelle. Really appreciate it. We truly do. So for today's outro, I thought I'd hit y'all with some Burning Spear, reggae artist. And the song is very fitting. He talks about Christopher Columbus and how he definitely is a liar and did not discover America. Check it out. Thanks for listening to Sunday night's episode. Appreciate it. We'll holler at y'all later this week. Stay safe and have a great week. Until the next one, peace and enjoy the Styles P on the way out.
Ghost 6 6 in the morning, I'm lighting up. I can see what I'm saying, rated for what? Tear a cipher, it tightens up. So you niggas should tighten up. Or you niggas should brighten up. Be a hype beast, but he ain't a beast to hype enough. It's kinda funny how a saying goes. And when you travel, yeah, the saying goes. We used to hustle on the gravel, but now we in the air cause you know the promoter's paying, yo. A long way from the old life. I played the stove on the cold nights. Had the big pot of water in it. A new world, no order in it. Crossing the line, no borders in it. It was summer when I thought of winter. I was losing when I thought of winning. I was praying when I thought of sinning. I just started when I thought of ending. Then I seen a snake and I thought of venom. I see the mic and I fade the shit. I just do it like my favorite kicks. I sold crack back in 86. I was only 12, goddamn, that's some crazy shit. I was outside any weather, y'all. Any weather. I play the phone, what's the weather, dog? Is it the leather or the feather, dogs? Let a nigga know the smoke spot that we headed for. Ghost, yeah.